Hello, and thanks for finding me on my YouTube channel, Stamp with Julie Baum. I'm Julie, and I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up. I'm here today to show you this cute and simple project. This is project number 2 from my Stamp Club of August 2022. Typically at my Stamp Club, we do 3 cards or projects when we meet. This particular month, I'm doing 3 plus a bonus one, and each of the projects is filmed individually into these YouTube videos. So project 1 was a card with the hippo set, Hippest Hippos. This is project 2, and be sure and look for the videos that show project 3 and then also our bonus project. Again, this is for August of 2022. So I want to show you some of these products before we jump in and put this together. And I know some of you that are watching have Stamp Club packets and you'll be creating along with me. So I'm super excited about that. These little gift bags are so cute and affordable, and they're kind of easy to overlook. So I wanted to actually show you where they are in the catalog. I could have put a sticky note on here to make it quicker to find, but I did not do that. Let me get back here. Okay. Yes, I completely overlooked these in the beginning. And once my attention was drawn to them, then I purchased them. And once they arrived, then I was super excited and happy about them. There were actually 2 of these items that I felt like were surprises. Okay, so at the bottom, I finally found it. At the bottom of page 140, you will see the embossed treat bags. You get 10 bags in the package for $7.50. And so I feel like that's a great deal. And let me show you one of these that's not decorated. Okay, here we go. It's quite stiff, so it's heavy duty. And they are already pre-embossed with that nice little design. And then when you pop them open, they are actually quite a nice size. I'm being very careful here. To put a treat or some goodies in. Very nice size, very sturdy. And all we're going to do is add a quick decoration to the front of this. All right, so that's our embossed treat bags. The other item that I was mentioning are these delicate detail treat boxes, which again, I kind of overlooked in the beginning, but these are absolutely beautiful in person. I'll have to do a video that shows how to make a project with that. All right, and then we're using one of the SaleABration gift items. This is the silver and gold 6x6 specialty paper. Let me just pull these out so you can get a peek at what these look like. It's so fun on some of the items that maybe don't jump out at you. Like for me, the Hippest Hippos stamp set and the coordinating dies, those were a must the second I saw them. But sometimes the other gifts that are shown in the brochure aren't as apparent at how great they are until you actually get a chance to see them. So it's a package of 6x6 papers, specialty paper, and it's a combination of gold and silver. And you get the striped paper and the polka dot. So this is the gold, and it's really, really lovely. And then you also get silver stripes and silver polka dots. So I just think for any occasion, and then especially with the holidays coming, I can imagine some fall and Christmas projects where there's a little bit of this featured in the project would really stand out beautifully. All right, so for today's project, we are using this, and this is available as a free gift with a $50 purchase. This is only good now in August. This was July and August, but now that it is August of 2022, we are in our final couple weeks of SaleABration. So I'm going to be using a piece, and this is in your club packet if you got a packet from me. And this piece measures, I've got all kinds of pieces. Oh, these were from my package. Okay, there we go. All right, the piece we're going to use on our project measures 1.5 by 5. Then I have a piece of designer series paper, and this is from Boutique, the 12 by 12 designer series paper called Boutique. This is a 3-inch square, so 3 by 3. I have a scrap of basic white. This is going to be used for stamping. We also need a piece for die cutting. Let me make sure. I'll have to make sure that I have enough scrap there. This one might not quite be enough. I have a scrap of crushed curry. This is going to be for die cutting. And then I have what I called a large scrap of Crumb Cake cardstock. You need to have enough paper from here to stamp 2 of the large flowers. Now let me show you the set I'm using. I'm using a retired set, but I'm sure that you have something at your fingertips that you can use in exchange if you don't have pretty Perennials. So I'm using some stamps from here as well as some of the dies. So let me just do a little bit of that right now. All right, here's the largest stamp. And I'm going to take some Crumb Cake ink and stamp 2 of these flowers on here. And you can follow along as I go. So I have my Crumb Cake ink, my stamp. I think I don't want to take a chance, and I'm going to use my Stampin' Pierce mat underneath my paper here. So I get a nice crisp image from this very large photopolymer flower. Okay, so you need 2 of these for our project. There's one. I like this tone-on-tone stamping. When I first put this project together, I actually only die cut the flowers and did not stamp them, but I felt like it was missing a little something. So this way we've got the Crumb Cake ink on the Crumb Cake paper, and it's just enough. All right, from there, then, these will need to get cut out using the coordinating die. And let me give you a little hint. When you look at this flower, the petals are slightly different, which is super helpful because it helps you know how to line it up with the die. The one that I look for is this petal, which I feel like kind of has a little squiggle or almost like the shape of a number 3. And I can find that on my die quite easily as well. So once I know to look for this petal and that petal, it's going to line up, and you can see that the other little delicate intricacies of each petal line up well. So this is going to get run through my Big Shot. Ooh, that was a blast to the past. My Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Big Shot was a reference to the old cutting machine that we used to have. Look at that, just flew right out of my mouth. And then I'm going to cut the second one with my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So I'm going to do that on the side. You can do yours as well. If you need to pause the video while you cut out your flowers, you can do that. I am also going to, out of my little bit of white scrap here, cut 1 white flower from this die. Okay, I've actually got that one done, so I'm gonna use that one. And then, yeah, I'm gonna need more white scrap because we also need 2 of these. All right, so those are the pieces. We're gonna cut 1 out, we did. We're gonna cut 2 of these out. And because I planned ahead to save time, I have those cut out. And now we can see my flowers that I cut out of the Crumb Cake. And the last thing was the scrap of crushed curry. And I cut a die cut of this one out of that. So there we have that. Those are the pieces that we're going to be using. All right. Now, as I said, this project is pretty fast to put together. We've got all our little parts here and our papers, and we're going to attach that to that beautiful little embossed treat bag. All right, so we do need to stamp our words. So this scrap is perfect for that. If you are stamping along with me and you don't have this stamp set, you're going to want to find a greeting or a word that is about the size of the scrap in your packet. We don't want it to be too small, so look for something kind of this size. I'm going to be using the Happy stamp from Pretty Perennials and Crushed Curry ink. All right, so I'm going to get that inked up. That looks good. Put away my mat a moment too soon. And I'm going to get this Happy stamped on here like so. All right, this was a really great stamp set. I was sad to see it go. But we do have lots of flower and amazing stamps that have scripty words. So use what you can find if you don't have this exact list of materials that I'm using. All right, I'm going to take my little word here and my paper snips and just do some fussy cutting. So I'm going to actually cut this out. This is a really fun look. And we have a couple of stamp sets and dies that really lend to the look of your words or your greeting, closely die cut. A lot of times we'll put our words onto a punched piece or a die cut label, but this is a different and specific look when you have a closely cropped word. So we're going to go for that look today. A couple of hints when you're cutting with your scissors, when you're fussy cutting like this, and that is to let the turning of the paper do a lot of the work. As opposed to moving your scissors a lot, you're going to move the paper. So as I'm coming around the curve of my Y, I'm actually using my left hand and pushing the paper the direction that I want it to go, as opposed to making the scissors go in that direction. So I'm using my left hand a lot like this. You'll find that you get a smoother cut look than if you are constantly moving the scissors. So if you've never played with that, takes a teeny bit of practice, but it's not hard. Again, just keep in mind that you're moving the paper, not so much of moving the scissors. So I'm spinning my paper around and I get a nice rounded edge under that P. And one more time. And I'm going close enough to my letters that I get a closely cropped look, but without getting too close that I might actually cut into the ink. All right, so without too many minutes passing, you can see that we were able to fussy cut that out and get that really cool look. All right, let's put the decorations on the front of our bag. So the first thing I'm going to do is lay down my gold polka dot specialty paper. I'm going to put it right down the right side of my bag. Now I left it a little bit long for two reasons. If you're stamping along with me and you've got your piece out, I also don't have it lined up with the edge of the card. I have it moved in about a 1/4 inch, and I'm avoiding the handle area, so I don't want this up too far. So I've got that dropped down. So you can place it right here and then take your scissors and just snip the extra off. Or if you prefer, right now as you're playing with your layout, you may want a diagonal strip. And so I left it plenty long in case you choose to go diagonal. So I have one that's finished where I went straight. This one, if we went with the diagonal, I would then place my square more straight. All right, so here are your two options that I recommend. Either a straight strip up and down and put your designer paper kind of on a diamond on the diagonal, or you can put your paper strip going this way, and then you might perhaps want your square to be a little bit straighter. I don't think we want to, oh, you could angle it too. You could totally do that. All right, so since I have one example of this straight, I'm going to go ahead and put this one at an angle, and you can decide what you're going to do. I am going to put mine on with tear and tape. The reason for that is all of this yummy texture that's on here makes it a little bit hard for the paper to grip on, so I want to help it along as much as I can. So I'm going to use 3 strips of tear and tape, one on each end and one in the middle. And I think that'll be good enough to hold it. And then when I place it onto my embossed bag, I'm going to really press it down well. All right, so I'm going to freestyle a little bit. Like I said, the example that I made originally, I have the strip going up and down vertically. This time I'm going to go diagonal. That had a little something in it, but it's not going to matter. I don't even know what that was. Okay, so this time I'm going to go on the diagonal, making sure that it fits. Like so. And I'm pressing that tape into those little grooves of texture to make sure that this is going to stay on nicely. And then this piece, I'm actually going to do the same thing. I'm going to use my tear and tape. It's up to you what you want to use, but I don't want this coming up. All right, now you're about to hear my doorbell, and I'm actually going to have to go and deal with this. So pause. This is not my favorite thing to have to do, but hold on for just a moment. Okay, I think it's going to take care of itself. So, although now I have a horn honking in my neighborhood. All right, I've got 4 sides of my designer series paper with the tear and tape on it now, so that this will stick down very, very well onto that embossed treat bag. Okay, and let's decide what direction we want this. Maybe straight, maybe also at an angle. I'm just gonna go angles on everything. Okay, so I'm gonna lay that down there. Isn't it fun? You can kind of just create it a little bit different each time. Now let's get our flowers in place. All right, I'm gonna take a little bit of liquid glue to attach the white die cut centers to my crumb cake flowers. So not a lot of glue because I don't want it to ooze out. So I've got some around the center. I don't know that you really have to line up these petals any specific way. You are welcome to figure out which way it goes. And I think by pure luck, mine lined up probably the way it's supposed to go, because you can see that this mimics that, this mimics that. This is actually probably the correct way, but you don't have to worry about a correct way. This time I'm not even going to think that in a million years that could happen again, that I would get so lucky to just lay it down the right way, but okay. So you've got your centers down onto the flowers. And then on this one, if you have the stamp set and you feel like it, you could, do I have the stamp? I think I want to do it just because. All right, I'm going to grab crushed curry. Where are you, crushed curry? You are here waiting for me because I already used you. All right. All right, I'm going to grab this and this little stamp that looks like a flower center. Here, I'll show you. It'll show it better here. This one, I'm just going to stamp the middle of the white flower. If you want to put a stamp here, you can. If you don't want to, fine. It'll still be super cute without it, but I wanted to see what that looked like. All right, and then a dab of glue here. And let's put that on there. I'm really liking, I'll tell you why I created this with these colors. When I saw this paper, I loved the neutrals against the red. And this is probably Sweet Sorbet. But I loved the white and the crumb cake, just that neutral look, which is why I chose these to accentuate it. All right. All we're going to do is put our flowers on now and then embellish this thing up. So on my 2 crumb cake flowers, I'm just going to attach them nice and flat because they're going just down cardstock onto paper. I'm not having to deal with those little embossed lines. See, this is going right on the paper, and this one is too. You can play with the positioning of these and get them where you want them. And then I'm going to take this one and attach it with a dimensional. So I'm going to put one on the back here. And I'm going to just kind of nestle that one in between the 2. Again, just kind of lay it out, see where you like it. And then I'm going to take this and put dimensionals on the back of this as well. So one full-size one can fit right there in the middle. I want one here, and those spots are a little bit skinny. I'm out of white mini dimensionals. They're on order. I mentioned that in my other video. So I'm just going to cut from the edges here. I'm sure you guys do this. So you can use up all of this dimensional stuff. So this kind of gives me a half. See, that's going to fit just great right there. Or you could even cut one exactly in half. Or reach for your minis if you have minis. And a half of one over there. Okay. So this is going to get placed right down here, kind of balances out the design. I want to make sure that none of this tail is hanging off of the edge. And now that I'm looking at it, that needs to be rounded a teeny bit. There we go. Yeah, I don't want my words hanging off the edge at all because this is too delicate. It'll just get crunched. So I'm going to make sure that I scoot it over so it's completely on the treat bag. And this can kind of lay wherever it wants to, even if it goes over your flower a little bit. That's going to be really pretty. All right, the last thing I'm going to do is grab, again, I had in mind kind of neutral against that pop of red. So I reached for my rustic metallic adhesive backed dots. I used these in June with lots of our Father's Day and mail type cards, and they were great. And now I love how this is going to look, bringing in kind of that earthy, natural look instead of blingy. The only thing blingy on the whole project are those gold dots, and so I'm just letting them do their own magic. I'm going to use 2 small ones. Ooh, I think I want it right here on the bag itself, and then a large one. Now, if you have a club packet, these are in your packet, you might end up with 2 large ones and 1 small. That part could be different, but you have the rustic dots in your package. There we have it. Look at how cute. Let me bring in the other design. So you can see, and in case you did it straight. So this one is pretty too. This one has the straight strip of polka dot paper, and this one has it on the diagonal. Both are very cute. Again, these little treat bags I think are going to come in very handy with the holidays. Maybe stamp up a few, even with a fall or a Christmas theme, and have them ready to go so that if you get invited to a party or a dinner or an open house, you already have a cute and quick decorated treat bag that you can just put a little host gift inside and take it along with you. I think you'll be glad if you work on these ahead of time and have them ready to go. Thank you so much for watching. I would love for you to give me a thumbs up if you liked this video, and I would also love it if you would like to leave me a comment. I will link at the top here the other Stamp Club project videos from August so that you can find them easily. And in the description below, I will put the products that we used, as well as this month's host code and a number of other bits of information. So do be sure and check that out. In the meantime, happy stamping, and I will see you next time.